Welcome to the shop. I'm Daniel. Today, I'm going to show you how to build my favorite fall rock stars. Welcome to the shop. Rock stars. Welcome to the shop. I'm Daniel with Bearded Viking. Welcome to the shop.
Don't be afraid of being different.
Well, today,
be afraid of being like everyone else.
This video is sponsored by nobody.
Meet me at the table, fall.
Wow. I could really use some fast cash. We'll say no more, because today I'm going to show you how to take this hollow piece of brass rod, this 4-inch piece of scrap, and this block of wood and turn a big ass profit. Alright, so we're going to start with the block of wood. I'm going to turn this into one of my very first ever best-selling projects. The stock that I'm working with is 1 3/4 inches. Ultimately, I need to get it resawn to 1 inch. If you don't have a bandsaw or any way of milling your material, you can always buy S4S material that is 1 inch thick. Rock stars, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps fight the algorithm. Next thing you're going to want to do is take and get your piece cut to 12 inches. Oh, we got some thunder and rain, guys. I'm going to be adding 6 holes to this piece, and I need to figure out my layout for that. We're going to be using these vials that are 1 inch wide in diameter, and I just want to play around with an angle because we're going to be angling these pieces. The angle we're going to go with is just going to be a straight 45. We're going to pull down from the top 1/2 inch on both sides. And that will be angled back into itself. We know our vials are 1 inch in diameter, so we'll pull over 1 inch from that 45 we just made on both of these, and then make another scribe mark with our 45-degree angle. Now, our next vial will be at 2 inches from our second mark here. So make a little tick mark right at 2 inches past that last line. And then scribe your 45. And we'll go 1 inch from there as well. And then our next one will be another 2 inches from that mark. And do the same process. And here, I'm just marking where my hole needs to stop. And I'll give you the dimensions for where your drill bit needs to enter. Now we're going to be drilling our hole 1/2 inch away from our center mark we made. And to drill our holes, we'll be using this 1 3/8 bit. Now the center punch for your drill bit to be inserted is 2 1/4 from both ends, and 1/2 of that 1 inch space for our vial. That's where your 1 3/8 Forstner bit needs to enter for all of your holes. I'm just going to punch my holes. Meet me at the drill press. All right, the very next thing we're gonna do before we cut out our excess on all of our holes is I'm gonna wind up putting a taper from 3/8 at the bottom to nothing at the top at the miter box. When you make this cut, just make sure you take it nice and slow. Yeah, that's a nice slight taper. Now, there are several ways that you can get this excess cut out. You could either do it with a jigsaw, bandsaw. What I'm going to do is take it to my miter box. Since we cut that slight taper on this piece, we'll just line up our blade with our marks we made and lock it in place. We'll cut right inside of those lines. Now, the reason why I cut right inside of my lines that I made is to sneak up on a snug fit. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these cut out, and I'll meet you back at the table saw. Now, after it is all said and done, your pieces should fit nice and snug. You don't want them to be able to just fall out. So just sneak up on those cuts and your piece should turn out like this. I'm gonna get everything sanded to 150 grit, and I'll meet you back here and show you how we're gonna finish it. Now, when it comes to finishing this piece, I'm just gonna wind up putting a simple clear coat on it. On a similar project I made, I wound up using some walnut finish and beating it up to make it look rustic. But if you happen to miss that video, don't worry, I'll leave a link to it right up here in the corner. As far as mounting it, what I'm gonna do is use some key slots. And this is a 3/8 inch key slot bit made by Frood. And you can find these at the big box stores like Home Depot. The depth of my bit will be set to 3/8 of an inch. And I'm just gonna cut 2 slots, one right at the bottom and one toward the top. Just be sure to adjust your fence for that slight taper that you added to this piece. Or you can take the cutoff from the taper you made and just hold it up against your fence while you're routing these out. Now say you don't have the router bit or a router table, what you can do is just drill 2 holes right in the upper corner of this piece, just like I did this piece. And that works and looks just as good. We'll go ahead and get our pieces inserted. And remember, you do not want them too loose, but you also don't want them too snug because they will break and potentially cut you. Now my wife was sweet enough to pick me some morning glories to put in this, so that's what we're going to be using. We'll put the longer plants up top and the shorter plants down at the bottom. And to assure the survival, if you use real plants like this, you can also add the water. Now, to transfer your key slot layout to your wall, just take a piece of blue tape and set it level on the back of your piece and circle where your key slot holes are. Then take your blue tape to a stud in the wall, hold it on your stud level, and insert 2 screws at those marks. Now, before we move on to the next piece, let's talk about the profit of this one. You're looking at about $5 to $10 to build one of these. Every year during fall, when I would sell these, I would get no less than 35 for the smaller ones, but for the big ones like this, I was bringing in 55 to 60 bucks a pop. That, my friends, is a good profit. This next project we're gonna be making is another one of my best ever sellers. And that is this Keychain bottle opener. Let me show you how to make it. We'll take and rip down this 4-inch piece of supplier, a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch. Now you're gonna wanna get one of these dowel makers, and I'll leave a link for one of these in the description. And take and just shave down each corner just slightly so it will help enter into the dowel maker. And take your opposite side and do the same thing so it can sit nicely inside of your drill chuck. Just tighten up your chuck. And go ahead and make this dowel. I went down about halfway because I want to leave the back side square. You may want to take a piece of sandpaper and just get it cleaned up. This is going to be a pretty snug fit. Ultimately, you should have about 1 inch worth of a dowel. And go ahead and drill it into your brass. And you're already halfway there. Now we just need to clean up the back side here and get that cut off, and then cut our brass about 1 inch from the bottom here. And you should have something that looks like this. Now for the fun part, we're going to shape our brass. And take and just make a little notch mark. And cut that area out. Now we're just adding the little hook part at the back side here. And we'll clean this all up with a rasp. It's a super fun, profitable project to make. And that is how your piece should turn out. We'll just do our final little shaping. And we'll be using this Keychain hardware, and I'll leave a link in the description for this as well. Next, you want to drill an 1/8 inch hole right at the back side of this. And if you have fat fingers like me, good luck. And voila! Now, unfortunately, I don't have an actual beer bottle, but I do have this old Coke bottle, but it's already open. But I think you can understand how this would work. It would hook right onto the cap right there, and you just press into the top and it pops right up. These things have made me a fortune over the years. I have a set of plans on the way, and when they're finished up, I will pin the link in the comment to the set of plans. Over the years, I've sold thousands of these little bottle openers, anywhere from $10 to $15 at the markets especially. So if you're looking to make a quick buck or a potential for 15 grand extra a year at your markets, these will do it. Until next time, get in your shop and make some sawdust. Skull.